Hi, and welcome to Triad Golf Magazine. I'm John Brasier, the publisher of Triad Golf Magazine, and this is the Triad Golf Podcast. And today, my guest is going to be Jay Smith, the general manager at Prestwick Golf Club in Myrtle Beach, one of the very best golf courses down in Myrtle Beach. But before we start, I wanted to tell everybody that next week's show, we're going to be talking about rankings that Triad Golf Magazine is going to publish. Our first magazine of the season is going to be out in mid-May, and it'll include a rankings of the top golf courses in the Triad area based on ballots from local golf professionals, local players, and even a leading golf administrator helped us out. So I'm excited about that. I think it'll generate a lot of chatter, water cooler talk, whatever you want to call it. Everybody loves rankings, and I guess the best thing about them is they're all subjective, and everybody has their own opinion. Also, I want to urge people to advertise with us at the Triad Golf Podcast and at Triad Golf Magazine in print, and as well as online at triadgolf.com. We publish daily content, and one of the things we published recently was something about the John Daly, sorry about that, John Elway's golf cart accident, I guess, or whatever happened. I don't think we know all the details. But real quick, before we talk about Myrtle Beach, Jay, I was going to bring that up because I had a golf cart incident with you before, and I've also hurt myself in a golf cart. So I know all about how dangerous these golf carts could be. About 25 years ago, I got stuck in the mud at Prestwick after a real big rain. I wasn't on the fairway. I was in an area I shouldn't have been, and I busted the plexiglass on the front. And you were very gracious. I paid for it. I think you might have given me a deal. If so, I appreciate it. But so I know that. And then 2.5 years ago, I was at Mountain Air Golf Course in West Jefferson with my son, and my son wanted to go pick up a ball as we drove by on a wet fairway. It had just rained. I was going straight down the hill. I thought it was fine. I had to slow down a little. I didn't force on the brakes or anything, but I did put the brakes on, and the car went, just toppled over. And I ended up with a cart on top of me. My son was able to step out because it fell on the driver's side, which makes sense because I'm about 100 pounds heavier than my son. And I ended up in the hospital and tore a rotator cuff and had a broken nose, and learned the hard way that you need to be careful in a golf cart. And also learned the hard way that North Carolina is a contributory negligence state. And if it was 1% my fault, it was my fault. And that's okay. I wasn't looking for a lawsuit, but it was funny because my son drives me in. I get up off the ground. He drives me in, and a kid who was a cart attendant comes by and he goes, "Oh, I was just getting ready to go back out on the course. I wanted to tell you guys to be careful in the golf cart because the fairways are wet, and sometimes we have problems with that." And I go, "Oh, thanks a lot." So anyway, spent some time in the hospital, and just wanted to share that. And Jay, have you had any good golf cart mishaps at Prestwick? Besides, not done by me.
We've had a few in the water. 18 has a lake, or the clubhouse has a lake behind it, and about two years ago in April, we had a guy actually jump a cart into the lake, and yours truly had to. Well, there might have been some beverages involved. We can't talk about that, but and then yours truly had to go in almost waist deep and hook chains to it, and we had a backhoe and we pulled it out, and the whole cart was completely ruined. Had to be rebuilt completely because all the electronics were gone, everything was gone. But the guy didn't get hurt, thank God. But
Well, what I want to know, I'm curious, and it would be very embarrassing, I think, would be, can you get a DUI from a golf cart accident on a golf course on private property?
Well, I've seen where people get them on lawnmowers, so I'm sure you can.
I had never heard of that. I know about boats, which makes sense. I didn't know about lawnmowers.
There's a couple of videos on YouTube of guys having too many cocktails driving down the street on a lawnmower, and they get pulled over and basically fall off the lawnmower drunk. So I guess I don't know. We had a beverage cart wreck this week at Prestwick. Luckily, everybody's all right. Yeah, our cart lady was driving backwards, what you do on a golf course. You don't want to drive with the flow. And some golfers were coming around. It's a blind corner, and luckily nobody got hurt, and the beverage cart got a little damaged, and we had to tow it in and get it fixed. Luckily, we have a spare because the first thing I was asked is there not going to be a beverage cart anymore? I said, well, fellas, yes, but
Jay, what I'm asking is, if I'm a player at your courses, I'm saying, well, why isn't there a cart on both nines?
we could do that, and it's not a bad idea, but
On
we
weekends
do
at least, or
we
during the
do
season.
have to be careful how
Yeah.
much we contribute, and
Yes.
there
Yes.
is a we have to take a little
Yeah.
responsibility. So it is relatively available at all golf courses, as you well know, but you don't want to
Right.
overserve somebody.
I got you. You don't want to make it possible for them to buy a drink every 15 minutes or something like that.
Yeah,
I
and with
I,
two carts, that's pretty much the way it would be.
I got I got it. Well, let's talk about Myrtle Beach. I was down there. I played at your golf course a week and a half
Yep.
ago or so. Always a great golf course. Pete Dye course, I believe, built around 1990.
Yeah.
Big centerpiece lake where 9 and 18 both finish
Hmm.
around this lake. I think the par 5 ninth 18 is a great hole too, but par 5
Yeah.
ninth I really love. It's got
Yeah,
some
it's a good one.
it's got some of those pot bunkers that folks love. As long as the water, as far in addition to the water, which you've got all the way down the left side, you've got some long par fours, some really long par fours actually.
We do.
You got a lot of good holes. I remember 30 years ago when I was in Myrtle Beach, we did the top holes in the area. We did a Dream 18, and I think I had a panel similar to the one that's going to be doing the Triad
Yep.
rankings, and we had 4 holes from Prestwick on there,
Yep.
which was the most of any. Uh,
Yep.
a lot of good golf holes. Tell me, how's it been? How's the season been this year?
So it's been good. So you said Pete Dye, but his son also Pete
PB.
PB Dye. PB Dye helped as well.
I meant to say PB. I really did.
Yeah. So Pete
Hey,
and PB both did it together. They did it together. It was a collaboration.
so did Alice not come down with them?
Well, so I caddied during the grand opening. I was playing for Coastal at the time, and she played in the grand opening. So I'm sure she had a lot to do with it too. I've heard stories, but who
Yeah.
who knows? But you know, you're right. Prestwick had a lot of holes on that best 18 holes that y'all did a while back. I remember 17 was on there too, and that's a rough par five. It's just
Yeah.
causes lots of problems for lots of people,
Oh yeah.
so
And when you've got a creek all the way down one side, and you've got to cross a pond, or where the creek expands into a pond. I don't know
yeah.
what you call that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's got trouble all over it.
and then the greens are fast, and that
Yeah.
greens kind of rough. I mean, you're hitting a short, you're hitting a sand wedge or wedge into it, but it's pretty challenging. A lot of folks unfortunately end up in the water where they don't want to be. And if you can get off that hole with a 5 or 6, just go to the next hole, honestly. But
Yeah.
the golf season, the spring has, January and February were rough. We actually had the most snow of any county in South Carolina this year. And I heard that from one of the weather guys down here. I could not believe it.
Yeah, to beat out the counties that are kind of in the mountains. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a stunning thing. We had 5 inches, and then, 5 inches around here, woo, you know, not much going on, but January and
Yeah.
February are a little rough, but March and April have been great weather months for us. Spring season, that's our busiest season for package play, out of town folks
Right.
and local players as well. And March and April have been really good for all the golf courses. May looks good too. Um, we have the Myrtle Beach Classic coming up next week, the One Flight Myrtle Beach Classic.
Right.
Which is going to help. It may not help us next week, but it'll help us down the road, hopefully, because there's a lot of coverage with that from everywhere. The tour covers it really well, and we'll be on Golf Channel and different stuff. And there's some good guys signed up right now to play in it. I don't think that field locks down till I think it's later today or maybe tomorrow. I
Well,
can't
we're
remember.
talking on a Friday. This is probably gonna be up maybe early next week. But yeah, it's usually Friday at 5 o'clock, or
Yeah,
when that particular player gets off the course for the second round of a tournament he's playing.
whatever.
I
Yeah,
believe he
and
gets to complete his second round.
but
Yeah.
there's some pretty strong names, in it. So hopefully they'll stay in it. I plan on going a couple of days. I am playing in the Pro-Am. I played in it last year, and I played
Yeah.
on Wednesday, and there was both sides of the fairways were lined, and it's been a while since I played with that many people watching.
Yeah.
And but this year I'm playing on Monday, and there's no spectators, so I don't have to worry so much about hitting somebody.
So who did you play with last year?
So I played with Dave Ginevro that runs
Mhm.
Barefoot, Bob Sagani that runs True Blue in Caledonia. And what we did is we did a pairings party the night before, and they picked a number. So whatever our team number is, that's in line where we got to pick who was
Right.
left on the board, basically. And so we did 9 holes with JJ Spawn, who's having a great year this
Oh, he
year.
is. Yeah.
And the other 9 was with Ryan Moore, who's
Okay.
won a handful of times, and both really good guys. Both hit it good. Both could hit a hybrid inside of our pitching wedges.
Yeah.
It was rough to watch because they don't hit bad shots.
Now,
Honestly,
now JJ Spawn has played so well this year that we're not going to
yeah.
see him in Myrtle Beach, I'm sure. Right.
Nah, no, and I don't know about Ryan Moore, but yeah, Spawn. I think he's probably top 10
Yeah.
on the FedEx list. He's
He's up
he's
there.
done he's done well.
This event, just so people know, and if you don't know already, this event goes up against the Wells Fargo, which the Wells Fargo has a limited field. So the Myrtle Beach tournament is for people who are not in the top 70, I believe.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's not Wells Fargo anymore. It's
Oh,
Truist.
Truist. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Forgot the
it
bank.
moved up to it's being played in, I believe, in Philly at
It is.
is it the cricket course?
I think it's called that people are calling it Philadelphia Cricket Club or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. And so this is like whatever you want, the second
Right.
tier event, I think is what it's referred to as.
Yeah,
Um,
and the reason for that tournament being moved from Charlotte is that Charlotte and Quail Hollow are going to host the PGA Championship
which
later
is is
a
it the
couple
week
weeks.
after? I think it's the week after
Uh,
the
this
Myrtle
month.
Beach Classic. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens in Myrtle Beach? What happened last year? You had your inaugural event. Did you still have the same demand or whatever for people to play themselves that week, or did it slow down a little bit?
No, I mean our golf season's been just as good.
Yeah.
Everybody's been real happy, honestly since COVID, golf has taken off. And hopefully it continues and we all continue to see more golfers. It's great for the Grand Strand. We all work really good together down here. All the golf
Yeah.
courses do. We all know each other.
Yeah.
We help each other when we can, which is a wonderful thing. We help ourselves and we help each other.
Yeah, there is a great community there, and the people do work together. And there's a belief that what is the phrase I'm looking for? High tides lift all boats, or
Mhm.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's great. I was just curious. Do you think, what kind of percentage do you think are locals who go, and how many people are from out of town? And does
Oh,
that
okay. I got you.
affect? Do the out of towners come in and play golf while they're there, and go once in a while to the tournament?
So it is Mother's Day weekend, which affects
Yeah, it does.
the out of town guests coming in. So that's kind of there's not as much package play that weekend for the simple fact it's Mother's Day.
Right.
Now, the weekend after is really busy, and the weekend before is like this weekend is packed. I mean,
Right.
you couldn't find a tee time
Hmm.
anywhere.
Hmm.
So that's it's hard to answer because I think Mother's Day, plays a little part in that. But there is a lot of out of town folks that come. A lot of the locals go. I know a lot of people that are going. I plan on going a couple of days. My daughters are going. My wife is a sheriff's deputy, and she'll be doing a lot of the security out there or helping with the security out there. So it's a great event. It's wonderful to see the Dunes Club look beautiful last year, and I've heard it's in great shape this year.
Right.
So it'll make a nice presentation for everybody.
And our winner last year was Chris Gotterup. Is that correct?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And he went on and had a pretty good year.
I think he played well in the PGA shortly after. And I mean, I think he, finished top 10 maybe, but yeah. had a good one, and he kind of ran away with it. That was a
Right,
shock. I think he won by 5 or 6 shots, I believe.
right.
But yeah, he played well, and you played that golf course.
Oh, it's hard.
It,
Yeah.
it's not that easy.
No,
You
it's
know,
difficult
it's
golf course for
I mean, it's
sure.
got the biggest sand traps of any golf course I've ever, probably played, and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
greens move a lot. So
Yeah,
it's a
it's a
great
tough golf
track.
course, and yeah, it never ceases to amaze me how low these guys shoot. In these tournaments. It's fun. We've had the Heritage recently, and the Heritage sometimes somehow that course holds its own. Well, I mean,
Hmm.
people shoot up in the upper teens and things, but for
Yeah,
a short golf course with a drivable par four and some other things, I guess I don't know. There's just we play at Sedgefield here in Greensboro every year, and you get amateurs play on Sedgefield and they putt the ball off the green and all kinds of crazy things. I mean, it's a Donald Ross golf course with turtleback greens, and it's just crazy. But these guys, you might see them occasionally putt a ball off a green or anything, but when they do it, then they recover with a chip shot to 60.
sure,
So
sure.
not like
Well,
me. It takes me four more.
I don't know if you played Harbor Town, but
I
that
have.
is a super tight golf course, and
Oh
those
yeah.
greens are tiny.
Yep.
So if
Yep.
you hit a green, you got a great birdie putt at it, but it's a matter of whether you can actually knock it on the green or not. And there's a lot
Yep.
of trees hanging in the way of some of those greens. That if you have to kind of maneuver the ball around the tree to get it on the green, if you're in the wrong side of the fairway.
And you typically have to deal with the wind there coming off of the sound,
Oh yeah,
especially on the
absolutely.
last holes. Yeah, it's a great golf course, and anytime you play in the ocean, you got to expect breezes. And the dunes is, you can it's the club is on the beach. There's really not any holes that are on the beach, but it's right there, so you get the breezes. And yeah, it's gonna
Well,
be tough.
Prestwick's only about a mile from the beach, and people forget that. And
Yeah,
we get a lot of wind
yeah,
pretty much every day. And the designers somehow are wonderful, making you always hit into the wind. I've never
ah,
quite figured that out, but it always seems like they figured that out way ahead
yeah.
of time.
Yeah, it does. Winds, and it'll change, so it'll do that. They'll design it. A lot of the guys, I think, the designers think about that and
Sure.
try to build holes that go in and out in different ways, but
Hmm.
they can't account for changes in the wind. So, and that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, you
Oh,
guys are a mile from the beach, but I guess because of the road system, people think of one side of 17 business
yeah.
being, and people you guys are on the other side of like just about every golf course. You're on the west side of
Sure.
of business 17. Yeah, it is a great golf course, and I remember back there. You guys have an excellent clubhouse. You started out as a country club back, gosh, 35 years ago, I guess, and then
89.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
1989.
and so I mean, it was built to be a really nice golf course. And it's got
Yep.
the clubhouse amenities. I mean, it's got a great clubhouse,
Oh
everything.
yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, definitely check out Prestwick. And is there any special way that you guys take bookings? Do you take them basically package play or you directly? How do you do
We'll
that?
take it. We'll take them any way we can get them.
All right. If you
Press.
go to like, what's your website, Jay?
You can go to it's Prestwick Country Club spelled out.com, and
Okay.
you can book a tee time online.
Yeah.
You can call the pro shop. You can go to our website, and our phone number's on there, 843-293-4100.
Yeah.
You can call the pro shop, or yeah, any of the packagers, that book golf. They all
Right.
have, there's different promos that you can do if you play this course with this course. And we're part of the Myrtle Beach Golf Trail,
Hmm.
which is around 20 golf courses in the Grand Strand area, some on the south, some in the middle, some on the north. But we package with them. We package with all the other different golf courses, and you can contact any of them and book around. We're close to the airport, which is a great thing. A lot of folks use this as the fly in, fly out golf course. We have shower facilities, which is a good thing, especially if you play golf and you're going to get on that plane. Everybody thanks you that's on that plane, for having a shower before you jump on there
Of course.
sometimes.
Or if you're doing the 36 hole thing, on a
Yeah,
on a
yeah,
package or something. Yeah, that's great.
yeah.
I didn't I knew you had them, but I didn't know that they were available for
Yeah,
golfers.
We keep towels, etc., and they get used a fair amount.
Yeah.
Obviously March, April, May, and October are the big times. And other times of the year they're available, of course, but we have rental clubs a whole bit, and I guess our signature thing is fast greens, and they move a lot. And you saw it. You know how they
Yeah,
are
they
there.
are. They're great. And they're in good shape. And I will say one thing that does strike people from where I am here in Greensboro is that, at the beach, you're gonna have different greens. You're not gonna have these Donald Ross greens that I mean, I guess what I'm saying is they're not as severe. They can be as fast, but I don't know if you guys have the severe greens that we're used to here at some of our golf courses. Uh, you know,
There are some that are pretty severe, but
yeah,
they all generally move. Some move more than you think, some move less
yeah,
than you think. And
yeah.
it takes a little while to get used to them. And like you said, we have some pot bunkers and things like that, which Pete and PV Dye are known very well for, and they love to put those little pot bunkers in different spots and moundings around the fairways. But it's a great track. We got 6 sets of tees, so somebody can find the right set of tees to play, and they're going to hit every club in their bag, most likely.
And yes, they do have the bulkhead water hazards. So just in
We
case
do, we
anybody,
do have all the bulkheads, of course. We just replaced all that recently, and
yeah,
it
looks
looks
good.
really good. And and that's something that folks forget about. With the increase in golf, and the rounds and stuff, a lot of the golf courses are able to do capital improvements, and I mean you can see it everywhere. It's
Yeah.
great. It's great for the consumer. It's great for the owners of the golf courses. They're able to make upgrades. They're able to do stuff that maybe 7 or 8 years ago they were hoping they could do. But now we can do it.
Well, we've talked about it with other people on this podcast that, with that maybe there aren't as many courses being built. Well, there definitely aren't as many as there were
There
20
aren't.
years ago. And they're starting to build a few here and there. But people are investing in the ones that are here, like
Hmm.
because there is
Exactly.
such a demand. We have more people playing in fewer golf courses now.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're taking better care of the ones that we have, and there's more money for that. Something else I was going to ask you about the Myrtle Beach tournament. Did we get Wes Bryant unsuspended yet? You know?
I have not heard, and I don't have any idea. I did see a list of folks that have committed.
Yeah,
Obviously that won't be done and I didn't see his
right.
name on there, but that doesn't mean,
Well, we talked about it last week. We had Al Blondin on last week, and we talked
okay, good
about it.
old
And
Alan.
good old
Alan
Al, and
books,
we talked.
Alan books golf too.
I know
You
that.
know, he's writing, for Travel Golf, or Golf Track, and he
Yeah,
books rounds of golf out here as well.
yeah. Well, we talked about that, and last year, I don't know if they've had their. Are they having a digital or social media content
Hmm.
creator birth like they did last year?
So you're talking about the queue.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so they played it back, I believe, March 3rd at TPC,
yeah.
and it'll actually launch this coming Monday at 12 o'clock. And
Okay.
yeah, it was some creators, some golf pros that are trying. Golf
Yeah.
Tourism Solutions, which is old Myrtle Beach Golf Holiday. We
Right.
had we had a qualifier for all the members, so all the courses and the packagers could send somebody to a
Hmm.
qualifier, and then one person out of that qualified to play in the queue at Myrtle Beach.
And I
And then
guess
the
they're keeping that a secret
hush hush.
until next
Yeah.
week. Okay.
I'm on the Golf Tourism Solutions board and I don't know who won it.
Really?
I feel better if I don't know. That way I don't have to worry about spilling the beans. But it's great because whoever wins that, and there was only probably, I think last year there was 16 players. This year
Hmm.
probably about the same. One person makes it in the event.
Yeah.
They're in the they're in the One Flight Myrtle Beach Classic. They have a spot, which is wonderful. You know.
Oh
Um,
no, it's great. It's great. And one thing else I was going to mention about Myrtle Beach, I saw something on the internet last night. The internet. I sound as old as I am. Um, okay, which is old. That we got the bridge, the 179 bridge in North Carolina is open.
Open. Yeah.
I saw that. I think you and I were joking that it was never going to happen not too long ago.
And I know one guy's happy. You know who
Yeah,
I'm talking about.
yeah,
Tim Jackson at Oyster Bay, he's probably ecstatic.
yeah. People wanted to play Oyster Bay or Sea Trail or some of those golf courses up above the border.
Yeah.
We're having to go way around, do a circuitous kind of way to get back there because the bridge got flooded out, I guess, a couple years ago, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
Sea Trail wasn't quite as bad because they had a back entrance, but
uh,
Oyster Bay, you had to drive all the way around
yeah.
everything to get there, and yeah, that's been it's been a while.
Did you see that posted as well?
I did, and the first thing I thought was, we just talked about that. Wow, that's I'm glad to see it's open because it was a lot of local residents in that area were being,
Yeah.
it was a kind of a pain for a lot of folks up there, and I'm glad it's fixed.
You've been there a long time, Tim, or Tim J. Gosh,
Yeah.
I'm showing my age again. But anyway, so is there anything? I mean, what's the future? Do you think they're going to start building again, Jay, or do you think you're pretty much set the way you are? From what I heard, I think real quick, and I'll give you a chance to answer in a second. Alan told me last week that he thought that the amount of people coming in made the land too valuable, maybe for golf
He's
courses.
exactly right. I just think the land's worth so much money that it would be hard for somebody to come in and build one and make it where they could get their money back to start with, because, especially on the side of the waterway I'm on, which is,
Mm-hmm.
obviously the beach side,
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's tough, and there's a few more that are slated to possibly being bought, and turned into more homes. And yeah, this is one of the fastest growing areas in the nation. I think the city of Myrtle Beach is top five,
Right.
and it has been for years. So yeah, there's more folks moving down here. Our local play has gone up tremendously at all the courses, which is great. You
Yeah.
know, um, so I don't see any more. Now there might be some, a little further west, but I don't see any on this side of the waterway. I mean, I'd be surprised if there were.
Yeah, and since we're in North Carolina, I might as well mention that I think Brunswick County in North Carolina has been the fastest growing county in North Carolina for a long time. Not only is it is it
Yeah,
adjacent to Myrtle Beach and considered part of the Grand Strand, but it's part of Wilmington too. And Wilmington
correct.
is growing by leaps and bounds. So,
Yeah,
well, anyway, so you're going to go a couple days, you think, and to the
yeah,
tournament, and
yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to try to make it for a day or two myself, just to check it out. You and I are both old enough to remember the seniors being at the senior
Oh
tour
yeah,
championship years
yeah.
ago, and at the Dunes Club, and it's really a good place for a tournament because it's centralized. It's kind of right in the middle, and I guess there used to be a shopping mall that they they can park just thousands of
Hmm.
people, I guess. So it's a fairly good place logistically.
Yeah,
And it's a
yeah.
beautiful golf course.
That's old Myrtle Square Mall. They
Yeah,
tore it down, and you
right.
park there and take a shuttle. And what's great about the Dunes Club is you can go to the front side to the back side, once you're out there almost instantaneously. It's not like
Yeah,
you have to follow the whole golf course around, and you can
right.
see a lot of golf pretty easily, which is wonderful. You know.
So one last question about Prestwick. My son asked me this. Do you have any divers there that go looking for golf balls, Jake?
Oh yes. Oh yes. I think I read a stat where the average golfer loses between three and four balls a round, and
Yeah.
yeah, we have a gentleman that's been doing it forever. Pretty much handles all the courses on the beach, and he has his divers come out here, and I think they pull about 35 to 40,000 balls out of Prestwick every year, and some courses have a whole lot more water than we do, and I can only imagine what they pull out.
Well, yeah, maybe so. When you say a whole lot, I would think you're toward the upper end, Jay. Well, I mean, I guess compared to where I live, maybe in
Oh,
Myrtle Beach,
okay.
but yeah, you've got water on several holes, and
We do, and 9 and 18 are obviously the hotbeds, and 13 the little par three, and
and
but nine and
16,
eight,
a par
well,
three.
six, yeah, but 9 and 18
Yeah.
they get their fair share, especially nine. Nine really, you know, it's a little more difficult, a little more challenging, and even though it's on the left side, it seems to grab more golf balls.
Well, Jay, I really do appreciate you coming on with us, and we're looking forward to that Myrtle Beach tournament. And you never
Well,
know. I
good.
mean, in a couple of years, it might be elevated, to where it's a bigger tournament.
Which would be great for the area. I hope
Yeah.
it happens. Who knows? We'll see. If it was a great success the first year, hopefully this year's just as good, and the next 2 years are good as well.
And folks, I hope you will join us next. I guess hopefully it'll be a week from Monday or so, and we're going to talk about the rankings that we put together. And I'm looking forward to that. And Jay, once again, thanks a lot for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It was great seeing you and your son last week.
Thank you, Jay.